Good morning, everybody. So I'm hoping at this point, Wednesday, you have at least read chapter one, um, if not read chapter two and three also. So Wednesdays we would typically read the chapters, kind of go over the information, stuff like that. So I want you to do that. I want you to read chapter one, two, and three again, and I want you to EET, two separate EETs, EET for chapter 2 and EET chapter 3. I did EET chapter 1, and I'm going to kind of go over it for you guys. I did everything, just like I'm going to make you do everything. I just sat here and did it. So I'm going to go over each part and kind of show you what I did. And I'm also going to post this electronically so you kind of have this as a model for what I kind of expect and hope for chapters 1 and or chapters 2 and chapter 3. So I reread chapter 1. So green group would be the characters. As I was reading, I found a lot of them. So chapter 1 has Breezy, the 13-year-old pit bull. Ashley's mom, Ashley, Jake, Uncle Alex, Aunt Lucille, Poppy, Aunt Polly, Uncle Kevin, and Nana. So there was a lot of them, which I just listed out as I went. Blue Dew was the main idea. That gets kind of tricky when you have this type of novel. But the first race chapter was essentially the big plot, or the big main idea point was kind of describing all of the things that Ashley had to do to prep for her first race, and then all of the things she had to do then after to continue her to the Iditarod. Well, hopefully the Iditarod. And then what does it look like would be the setting. There were 2, so if you have not read chapter 1, this is a huge spoiler. This is a spoiling video. They first lived in Connecticut. They didn't originally live in Maine. So from the Connecticut, they ended up moving to Maine because Ashley's mom saw how into this she was, so they moved. And then how would the characters feel? I wrote down 2 things. You can write down as many as you want, but I want at least 2 things. So Ashley herself was feeling determined. She's doing all of this stuff at a very young age to reach her goal. And she's also feeling supported by her family. So whether it be her racing family, not really blood, but they're all really, really close because they're all doing the same kind of crazy stuff. And then also her grandparents and her mom, they're all doing all of these things to help her get to this end goal. So that. And then we get to the fun part, which I'm sure every single one of you are going to hate, but it is pink parts. So sequencing of events. I have 15 events here, and I really just jotted them down as I read so that I wasn't trying to go back and remember everything off the top of my head. So the first one, Ashley adopted Jake. So she realized that Breezy was 13, she wasn't going to be able to race her, so she adopted a puppy. However, Jake then broke his leg, and that ended his racing career. So those are my first 2 sequencing events. And then after that, Ashley ended up adopting Maggie, and she was a purebred Siberian Husky, I believe. My 4th event, Ashley and her mom traveled to Maine to meet up with a couple who make dog sleds. And that was the beginning of realizing that the dog racing mushing community was really, really tight-knit, and they all got very, very close on that trip, to the point where she ended up calling this couple Uncle Alex and Aunt Lucille. So then Uncle Alex, this is my 5th event, Uncle Alex taught Ashley racing tricks of the trade. So vocabulary, he gave her a little book of vocabulary terms that had to do with racing, kind of like the words that I give you for spelling and vocabulary. And then the 6th event, Uncle Alex made Ashley her own racing sled. The reason I keep looking over this way is because I have a little document that I filled out. I'm not like looking at something. Well, I am, but okay. So number 7, my 7th event was Poppy which is her grandfather, and Ashley traveled to Maine to meet some more friends in the racing community who have a kennel, and these people were Aunt Polly and Uncle Kevin. And then the 8th event, Ashley ran her first Pee Wee race with Maggie, but Maggie ended up turning into like a diva and like wouldn't run. So similar to the mushers, we watched the video of why they run. Ashley at a very young age realized she's not going to make a dog run if that dog doesn't want to. So Maggie ended up being more of a house dog, and so she then adopted Alou. So before this adoption took place, Ashley kind of talked about the history of the Iditarod and diphtheria and the reasoning for the trail. Well, one of the reasons, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. So she talked about the racing dog Balto, which was the lead dog of the very last racing team that ended up getting the medication to Nome, I believe. So she had said that she wanted a dog like Balto. So she adopted another one, and she named this dog Alou, which was one of Balto's daughters. So she named her dog after Balto's daughter. And then the 10th event, Ashley's mom saw how determined and what am I trying to say? She saw how devoted, that's the word, devoted to this dream that Ashley was, and she realized that Connecticut was not going to be a place that would help her reach this dream. So she quit her job and they moved to Maine. And when they moved there, Ashley started competing in every Pee Wee race she could. And then she ended up competing in the junior dog division, and she raced with a 3-dog sled. And then for the 13th event, her mom saw how into racing that Poppy was, Ashley's grandfather. So Ashley's mom ended up buying a sled and racing dogs for Poppy. But Ashley's mom will not get on the racers or the runners. She just supported the two of them. But for the 14th event, after being tricked, Poppy tricked her and was like, get on the runners. And then he let go of the sled, and then she just took off. But when she got back, she realized how much she loved mushing and racing and dogs too. So the last event that I wrote down was that Poppy, Ashley, and Ashley's mom all ended up racing together. So those were the events. Those were the events that I sequenced. And then the last one, what else do I know? I wrote that Poppy and Nana moved to Maine to help Ashley reach her goal. So they moved about 15 minutes away from Ashley and her mom. And the other one that I wrote down, because I didn't know, I thought Balto was just a character in a movie. It's not, obviously. This is the real dog. So I wrote that down. You don't have to pick the ones that I wrote for What Else Do You Know, because you may have known that Balto was a real dog. So that's kind of that is the process that you would go through to do the EET. So I kind of walked you through what I did. Like I said, I retyped this because mine is a mess. It's just written all over. So I retyped it, and yeah, I want you guys to kind of do the same. There's something happening outside of my house right now. I want you guys to kind of do the same thing that I did for chapters 2 and 3. I'm not asking you to do it all today, but from today to Friday, if you could get that done and send it to me. Don't post it. I feel like posting it, it's just too much. So send it to me via email, which is Kaitlin K, KAITLINK @mdschblind.org or com, whichever one you want to do. And remember, I'm here to answer any questions. Also, if you guys would like to set up a video conference, if you're having trouble with anything or you just want to check in, let me know. You would have to download Zoom, and we can kind of set that up. So just let me know, whichever. I'm here for you guys. Yeah. All right. Have a great day. Let me know if you need any help.